Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about A Brighter Summer Day. And this movie is directed by Edward Yang, and this is the first movie that I've seen from him. I haven't seen anything else. I've heard of his other stuff, and supposedly they're supposed to be good. Like, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Yi. I hear that's supposed to be good, and I would like to check it out at some point. And this one I was kind of hesitant to check out, not because I had anything against anything that it was trying to do narratively or like the subject matter or anything like that. It's just one little tiny thing that was kind of off putting for me, and that is the runtime. It's 4 hours long. Not three, but four. And the big question is, did it earn its runtime? Yes and no. I would say that as a whole, I enjoyed the movie. I liked it. I wasn't wild about it by any means. And I do feel as though if I was more in love with the characters and story and just everything that it was doing, I think I would have gotten more out of it. But overall, what we got was a really long movie that was kind of slow, but also doing a lot, even if not a lot of things happen. I do feel as though it's going after so many different things. There's lots of characters in this movie and lots of storylines going on, and it can be really difficult to keep track of all of them. And I did find it compelling in the first half, especially. I was like, okay, I can kind of somewhat go along with this. I understand what's going on. But unfortunately, it just kind of loses me a bit after a certain point because it just feels as though, why is this all in one movie? Like, I do feel as though you could have gone in a few different directions. Either just turn this into two movies, one where it's focused on our main character and the other would be on someone else's perspective. Like, if you wanted to make this movie but show it from different perspectives from this story, that could have worked. I feel as though that would have made it much more enjoyable to watch, and it would have helped with the pacing, and you could probably develop things more and not have it be so convoluted. And not to say that this movie was a chore to sit through, which it kind of was at times, but there were points of it where I was with it and I could sit through the whole thing. And I would say I would be down for a 2.5 hour version of this film, possibly three, and not feel as though it's dragging on for way too long, because about 2/3 through the movie is where the movie was starting to test my patience. And I was like, okay, let's move along. Let's get to something here. And I get this trying to be a slow burn and pretty much all be a release in the third act. And it was effective for me. I thought it worked pretty well. But unfortunately, I just feel as though like the long buildup of just waiting for this to happen, it was like such a long wait that some of it did feel like it was kind of painful to sit through. But moving on to my positives, because I do have positives for this film. I did like how the movie looked. I thought it was very well shot and beautiful to look at times, just with how things were framed. And also, I did like the long takes in this movie. I thought that they added to the film, and there were some good lines in this movie that I liked. And also, I did like how this movie used flashlights. I feel as though that was kind of a highlight in this movie and definitely made it more enjoyable. And it was something to chew on, and there was some singing in this movie that I did like. It didn't drag the movie down by any means, and I also do like how this movie wasn't too focused on dialogue. Like, the movie does have parts where it's nothing happening, no characters are talking, just walking around in the room, but it's all to let you get absorbed in the atmosphere, and I do feel as though that was effective at times, especially in the first half. I'll get into that a bit more later. There were also times where I was invested in the drama of the situation that was going on. I was like, this is working for me. And there was one moment where there was some blood that didn't work too well for me. I just feel as though how it was handled was a little bit goofy, but that was just one moment, and it was towards the beginning, and it's not a huge deal for me. And unfortunately, another issue that I have is while I did appreciate the lack of a need to have characters talking at every given moment, I will say that it worked for me in the first half, and in the second half, it just felt like you're trying to stretch everything out for as long as possible, and it just doesn't fully work for me. I need something more. I wish there was something else to chew on. And about 3 hours into the movie, I was pretty worn out and just waiting for the movie to end. And I was like, come on, let's just wrap this up. I would like some resolution already. And eventually that does happen, and the movie ends, and it ended pretty strong, I felt. But would I watch this movie again? Probably at some point. It was unique, and I do feel as though I got something out of it, and I'll be somewhat optimistic about it and say if I were to rewatch this movie in a few years from now, maybe there will be aspects that I'll appreciate more about it now knowing what it is and what it's trying to go for. I'll be optimistic about that. Hopefully that happens and I can just come back to this movie at any point. But as is, I think it's a solid movie that was really long for almost no reason, and wish it was shorter and didn't have so much in here that it made it kind of difficult to follow. So do check this movie out if you have 4 hours to spare, and it's a good movie overall. I would recommend it. Just make sure you have that kind of time. So with all that being said, I'm going to give A Brighter Summer Day a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of A Brighter Summer Day, and my social media links. It will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Project Hail Mary. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.